Good morning, people from India. People always wonder why I always say good morning no matter what the time. And my thing on that is just one, it takes people off guard. Plus, mornings is usually like a sign of, hey, optimism, right? So, or some other people say it's always 5 o'clock somewhere. So if you guys, either or, whatever works for you guys, right? It's morning in New Zealand. Wow, we got global. We got a global audience here. But thanks again for joining us. My name is Ralph Lloren. I'll be talking about social engineering. And I was actually supposed to give a talk on hacking back in December, but ChatGPT came out and Jim and I decided, hey, give me a little bit more time to mess around with this new toy. And it's just so exciting that the environment that we're living in right now. But as always with any social engineering, it's a very taboo subject, and I find not a lot of people like to talk about it. So just a warning, I may or may not accidentally or purposefully say not so good things. Just know that it is part of the theatrics, and that all opinions expressed during the presentation is mine and mine only. And we're just really here to have fun and learn new things. And a little background on why I chose this topic. I'm not going to be going deep or technical or really granular on things. What I'm really hoping to achieve here is merging stuff from healthcare and into tech, because I feel like right now everyone's so focused on technology, and we've got that those three things: people, process, and technology. And as we go through the presentation, you're really going to see where my bias is, and I think people should be first always. But that's just me. It's not always the case, right? So also, another reason why I wanted to mold machine learning with social engineering is I recently completed a machine learning course. And the more I learn about machine learning, the more I realize that, hey, I'm not actually learning about machines. What I'm learning is how humans think. And it was just mind blowing to realize that machines, we're making machines in the image of us. And it's a little scary there because, for those that are religious, there's that saying that, hey, God made humans in the image of him, and now we're making machines in the image of us, right? But that I'm not going to go into that deep of a can of worms on that one. But anyways, as we adopt more automation and AI into our lives, better humanity, I just really want to spread the message that we need to remember about the human part of that. So yeah, we need to find them. Find who? Find John Connor. And more on that later. So who am I? I live in Austin, Texas, also known as California 2.0. Those are my educational creds. The most important things that I'll say about this slide is I used to be a stockbroker, and I specialize in behavioral finance. I'm also a licensed registered nurse. I love psych nursing. I was also 6 years military law enforcement officer, so lots of DUIs, lots of interrogations, and on my spare time, I do a lot of OSINT, capture the flag, to help find bad people in human trafficking, or even better, just try to help missing persons. And some of my mantras and beliefs right now is that information is a new form of matter, and that data or data science is the new alchemy. So, and data science is the way. Who am I? A little, because that was my education and background experience. Here's my certs. I got whatever they need, usually expect for security professionals. I know we are a Google group, and I feel, please don't kick me out, that I am very heavy on the Azure side. because there's lots of security tools on the Azure, and I'm working on Google, and I know Eugene's here, and he has plethora of Google certs. It's a work on progress on that. So now in social engineering, and overall, this is really about hacking, and a common question is what is hacking, right? And I teach pen testing on the side, and I tell them it's too much. There's too many things. It's almost like a catch-all term, and we can hack physical structures. They call that physical pen testing. We can do internal networks, cloud, IoT. We hear terms like vulnerability management, red team, pen testing. There's so many different subtypes. And and for me, I like to keep it simple. So I like to have a big picture view, as always, to start. And on the right-hand side is Lockheed Martin's cyber kill chain. There's 7 steps on the hacking process. But for me, it's I gotta KISS, keep it simple, right? Keep it simple, stupid. And to me, a lot of the things in the universe, to include what humans make, our social constructs, we use frameworks and systems. So my 3 steps is I just gather data. Number 2 is there's going to be patterns in that. And in the physical environment that we have, there's patterns in there, and there's consistency between those patterns, and anything that is out of that, out of those bounds, or deviates from that pattern, is usually, hey, there's something here, and it might contain a potential vulnerability or something that I can mess with, right? Either I can exploit it, or if you're not the exploit type and you're the healer type, and you spot an area of improvement within that pattern, well then, yeah, that's a place for optimization. So that's really what hackers are, is they'll recon a target, get intimate with it, know the ins and outs just enough to where they can exploit that target. Or if you're a healer, but I still am a registered nurse, I just don't practice, is I'm trying to assess when patients get sick, their pattern, their normal pattern is no longer the same, right? A normal human being breathes 10 to 20 times a minute. Our body temperature is around 98.6, give or take a degree. Now, if our pattern goes outside those deviations, right, now maybe I can optimize or heal. And to me, that's what everything in the universe is there's patterns. Again, my last thing on the patterns is why is a tree composed of this? And there's certain molecules of how a tree is versus a duck, right? And again, anything in our physical environment, there's a pattern there. And let's see. And I just feel that, and this is pretty key, where as we grow older, we take this unique capability of ours somewhat for granted, because humans, whether we like it or not, we're all pattern recognition machines, right? And over time, we become unaware of how much our personal automation or subconscious processes affect our lives. So, and before I get into the fun stuff, I mean, this is fun for me, but even more fun for social engineering later. I do want to go dive into some frameworks and systems. So on the left side, some of you might recognize the SDLC, also the OSI layers on the left side. Now on the right side, humans, we have our own development lifecycle. And yeah, and each of those stages, phases that we go through, it has its own challenges, priorities, and goals. And then on the bottom right is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And man, yeah, this slide is actually hitting me hard right now. So on the left side, SDLC, we use that to push innovation, develop apps that help society. OSI layers, it helps admins and architects to build the systems, or robust, resilient systems to support life. Now on the bad side, the SDLC, a hacker that gets intimate with how that cycle works, it's very damaging. I can't even come up with a word right now, where it's the easiest way to sneak in malware right now. And there's a huge shift to shift left. And yeah, but we just, yeah, I can't think of anything right now. Now, on the bad side, on the OSI layer again, from a bad person's point of view, like, they can use for each layer, now they can develop tools and use the layers to categorize those tools, those attacks, or those weapons. And yeah, the thing I'm trying to get at is there's always gonna be multiple sides, multiple perspectives that we should take when it comes to how the good guys and bad guys think. And life isn't really so one-sided as much as we would like for it to be, or nor that it is two-sided too. That's black and white thinking. Now, yeah, for social engineering, again, I don't really see this being talked about. Most social engineers really talk about the tactics and the procedures, but rarely do they go really deep into the psyche. And it just makes sense, because we don't, healthcare people are in the healthcare industry, tech people are in the tech industry. There's very few that can combine the body of knowledge within those fields together. And why am I really just lost right now in this slide? Is a lot of emotions and the flashbacks are hitting me when I'm looking at the hierarchy of needs. Because on one hand, physiological needs, I'm talking about food, water, air. That's in healthcare. We use the needs that will take care of the bottom rung first and help people go up. Now, as an attacker, yeah, I'll go a little dark. This is the only time I'll go dark in this presentation. But if we restrict the food, if we restrict someone's freedom of movement, if we restrict someone's access to water, to air, they're gonna be, yeah, they're totally compromised. They're at will to whatever behest the attacker has, right? Same thing for safety, same thing for love and belonging. Each of those, you can develop a separate attack for that. But anyways, yeah, let's move on to that one. So a little bit not so dark. The second systems I do want to talk about is communication. It's vital. We live in this universe where it's and I'm thinking about my own body as a machine, and then I'm trying to interact with the external environments, right? Which is composed of other systems. Now, you see in my first picture there, tech, and I just wanted to ask, like, hey, how do computers talk to each other, right? So zeros and ones, we can go deeper into that, usually through a medium, which in this case can be wires or through the air, using, if it's wires, usually electricity or light stuff in them, right? Now, how do humans talk to computers? There's got to be some sort of input and output between those two systems. And most of the most common ways that we interact with computers or machines is keyboard and mouse. Now, last, how do humans communicate with each other? Most of the time we talk verbal, but we also have visual and also tactile, right? So there's a lot more communication going on, and most communication is nonverbal. But for today's presentation, we're going to be focusing on verbal. That feels out of place, but I'll go ahead and proceed, because I wanted to show you guys some fun one, because a fun video real quick. So, and a little bit background on DEF CON. Now, DEF CON is a conference for security practitioners, and lots of hackers in there. And there's a booth, there's a village, which is just a group of like-minded individuals. And then there's a village called a social engineering village, and they have competitions where they'll have social engineers in booths, and within 5 minutes or 15 minutes, they have a task to do, meaning, hey, I want you to call this bank and get the credentials from someone. And they have competitions on that within the conference, and this is one of the social engineers there, and it's my favorite video, actually.
So I invited a few of the world's best hackers to try to hack me and show me where my vulnerabilities are. And now I'm going to meet them in Las Vegas for DEF CON, the biggest hacker convention of the year. They're going to hack me using social engineering, which is essentially hacking without any code. They just use a phone and an internet connection.
You want to do a sample of phishing call?
What's phishing?
Phishing is voice solicitation, and basically what you do is you use the phone to extract information or data points that can be used in a later attack.
Let's do it. Who are you going to call?
Maybe I'll call your cell phone provider and see if I can get them to give me your email address.
I bet they're good. I bet they have my back. But yeah, go for it.
I'm going to spoof from your number, so it's going to look like it's calling from you.
Okay.
Hi, I'm so sorry. Can you hear me okay? My baby, I'm sorry. my husband's like, we're about to apply for a loan and we just had a baby, and he's like, get this done by today. So I'm so sorry. I can't call you back. I'm trying to log into our account for uses information, and I can't remember what email address we used to log the account. The baby's crying, and can you help me? Awesome.
In just 30 seconds,
at gmail.com,
Jessica gets access to my personal email address.
Now, if I needed to add our older daughter on our account so she could call in and make changes, how would I need to go about doing that? You would have to send me a secure PIN through a text message? Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't think I'll be able to receive a text message if I'm on the phone. Oh, I'm not on there either? So I thought when we got married, he added me to the account.
Jess uses my girlfriend's name and a fake social security number
5127
to set up her own personal access to my account.
Wait, I'm sorry. So there's no password on my account right now? Can I set that up?
She even gets the support person to change my password.
Thank you so much for your help today.
So she just basically blocked me out of my own account.
I'll get her fed after this. All right. Thank you.
Holy shit. So they just gave you access to my entire cell phone account.
You're gonna have to go on and change your password now because it's Jess, my name.
And all it took was a crying baby and a phone call.
Yes.
So even though he said all it took was a crying baby, there was actually, man, I can count more than a dozen things from a site perspective. I saw damsel in distress. I saw the concept of like, hey, I'm in a rush. Can you help me? And I don't like talking about genders, but females, in my opinion, do make the best social engineers. And the secret weapon I always tell this is a baby, a crying baby. If you've ever, I used to be a pediatrics a nurse also, and man, put a guy that doesn't know, put a male that has no idea how to take care of crying baby, and they just get dysregulated. They have no idea what to do anymore. They ask them what's 1 + 1. They're like, oh, the baby's crying, right? So it's a great way to to throw someone off. Now, well, real world incident on this slide. Again, we can get dysregulated, we can get fatigued, we can get rushed, and something's tugging at our strings here, and that's what social engineers do, or at least the good social engineers. They try to do that so that the companies that they're testing, they can patch and up their defenses, right? Now the bad guys, this is the one where, hey, these aren't pen testers. This one was actually, I think he's like 16-year-old kid that was hacked this unknown company there that tried to remove the name. Now, but yeah, this chat was pulled off a Discord chat, and oh no, sorry, a Slack chat. And then what ended up happening was the last security measure that he needed to bypass was the multi-factor authentication. And it, props on Uber for having the multi-factor on, but it was a simple push authentication. And what the hacker, the kid, ended up doing was just spam the guy for hours, and it's called a decision fatigue, or it's a subconscious behavior for us. Sometimes when you wake up with an alarm, you just press it, or you just want something to go away, so you just press it. And again, it's subconscious, and a lot of people have been falling for that, for spamming a multi-factor authentication, but this guy didn't, and he ended up calling that person and pretended to be from the IT department. And yeah, he got him to press the button, and he was in. So this is my one cybersecurity push here, and the reason for this is this one measure alone can mitigate so many simple attacks. And so anything that you guys have that's important, just MFA, multi-factor. And there's a lot of features now, because the simple push authentication, the hackers are getting really fancy, and then they're getting smart and finding ways around it. So there's advanced, there's better versions of multi-factor now, especially one that has context in it, meaning, like I'll get it sometimes where I'm trying to log in from Russia. I'm like, I'm not in Russia right now. So it's really nice to have multi-factor with not just a simple push. It needs a little bit more things involved. So here, humans, I have here at the bottom, humans, we can either be the strongest link or the weakest. And sometimes getting things fixed is good. Other times the fix itself is bad. What do I mean by that, Ralph? And what I mean by that is that everyone in here right now, in this room, has an addiction. And everyone is getting their fix, whether they realize it or not. So the hard truth is, today we live in a world of big data. It's our phones, our screens. It's and never in the history of humankind have we had so easy access to so much information, where, hey, I can just go on Twitter and follow, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but follow of the tanks, the rebel tanks going from Rostov all the way to Moscow. and there's people there. There's OSINT people just updating all sorts of information. Where I'm just sitting here on Saturday, I'm like, oh man, I'm keeping track of how many helicopters were shot down, live footage, and aggressive OSINTers. They can actually hack into the street cameras of Russia, and then you can monitor the troop movements from there. And that's actually what the Russians. I'm getting sidetracked there, but early in the Ukraine war, the hackers were hacking into the controlled parts of Ukraine and the street cameras, and even just normal buildings. Like, I don't know if there's Starbucks over there, but if you have a Starbucks, you hack into that camera and you can spot enemy troop movement, and they'll pass that on to the Ukraine army to send them a present. But anyways, getting back to society today, we're all addicted. We're all. I felt like I needed to connect the data geeks in us, the data practitioners in the room, and there's just so much data coming at us that even if we were able to process that information correctly and not get information overloaded, I mean, as humans, we run into things, we know what to do, but we just don't do it for some reason, right? Like, I know I'm supposed to be going to the gym 3 times a week. Do I do it 3 times a week? Maybe, maybe not, right? So I know I'm not supposed to eat sugar, but I love ice cream. And so this is where I'm showing my healthcare side now, where the common thing whenever people think about decision making is, hey, it's a constant tug between the heart and the mind. And for me, I split it up into 3: the intellectual or cognitive, and I'll be talking about biases. 2 is going to be emotions, and 3 is going to be behaviors. And there's still a lot of schools of thought saying, hey, emotions trigger decisions and decisions trigger emotions, and for me, it's all enmeshed within each other, because it's yeah, I was going to go off into a tangent there again, but yeah, 3 things there. First one, biases. There's a lot of talk with AI having biases, and the reason for that is it's the humans that introduce the bias. So the more that the better and more effective that we can utilize the AI tools, we need to be able to know our own biases. And my favorite one is a blind spot bias. If a person says, oh, I'm not biased, then I'm like, oh, that's his weak spot. That's totally where I'm going to position myself, and sideline him right there on the side, and he won't even see it coming. Why? Because it's his blind spot. Number 2 is emotions. Whenever we get emotionally dysregulated, we don't make great decisions. I think that's enough said on that one. And so for this one, I actually think this one is the most powerful and the most dangerous one. There's something called choice architecture, where it has to do with behaviors also. And I think it's dangerous because if designed correctly, it gives the appearance of choice. And we partially do have choice. Like here on my picture on the left, you got Homer going, oh, no, the donuts are way over there, and I'm too lazy. The fruit is next to me, so I might as well have the fruit, right? And the shopkeeper's saying, my cunning choice architecture will soon have Homer eating healthy, right? So it's a little hard to, the topic's still debate on the choice architecture part. And on same thing on the right side, the how things are arranged around us, it makes it seem like, do we really have a choice or we don't? And what I mean by that is on the picture on the right, there's a, if you picture the aisles, there's a default level. If you take the average height of human being, where their eyes naturally fall into, well, guess what? That that shelf is actually higher value than a shelf all the way at the bottom now, right? And most people naturally don't think about that unless you work at a retail store or some sort of marketing where you want to place things where people naturally looks. So usually the costlier or high-end brands, eye level. The cheaper, affordable brands at the bottom. Same thing with the placement of eggs and milk. Eggs and milk in a grocery ranks as the top purchased item. So it's the top purchased item. Why do you put it all the way in the back? No, that's exactly why they put it all the way in the back, because the grocer wants you to walk all the way in the back. That way you can see all the items that you might just need to buy, even though you might not need to, right? So again, why do I bring all this up? One, because that's really what social engineering is. I'm not here to show you guys how to create emails and tailor it to the person, but that's like how you tailor it is knowing the person, knowing their biases, their behaviors, and their emotions. And how do we defend against them? We do self-reflection, and we check our own biases, emotions, and I forgot the last part, behavior. So it's more and more important for us to use less technology nowadays. And I put in this slide right here, how to hack our neurotransmitters, things that doesn't require technology, because I mean, technologies is gonna dominate us soon. And, if it hasn't already, we need to plug away, unplug, and reconnect with ourselves. Decision fatigue, this kind of fits in what I've just been talking about. And to the fun part. So I've been talking about how I gain data from a target, or at least my three main things is trying to find out their intellect and biases at the same time. Two is going to be their emotions. What's their emotional triggers? Because if you can trigger someone by saying a certain word, a key word, it just sets them loose, right? Like and everyone has a certain trigger that'll affect them. And third is observing your habits and routines. Now there are stalker laws. I don't advise you to observe, actually apply that. But the key things here, I've always said that social engineering it's just marketing. Now I'm kind of just, that's not really fair to say it, but for those that have a marketing or sales background, you'll get it when I say that when you're talking to a client or a target, you're really trying to find their emotions and what's their motivations, and you find their needs. Or even better, if you're skilled, is you can create the need for them. And two techniques there is open-ended questions and close-ended questions. Just know that close-ended questions, I just want a yes or no. Like, did you hit your wife? Yes or no, right? Now, open-ended questions are more of it entices the person to give more, to like, if I want him to say a story, that you want to craft your you're questioning in a way that just ask them like, hey, it's all right. I'm here to help. I'm just trying to understand both sides of the picture. I talked to your wife already, and I'm just here to understand like what went on. So can you tell me more about it? So that was a real case where they called me into on an off day to question this guy, and because he wasn't talking, and after 10 minutes it was just talking to the guy, and everyone was just laughing because we were looking at the video. He went from not talking to me asking him, oh, so you did hit her? And he goes, yes. Was it open fist or closed fist? He goes, open fist. Palm or back? Just go palm. I was like, oh man, that's insane. But again, as long as you can find someone's emotions, their biases, and their behaviors, yeah, they'll help you out. And my biggest thing from my experiences with humans is we just want to be heard. That's real deep there. Loaded questions. I love loaded questions. Plenty of times I'll be at the gate when I was still active duty cop, and I'll just say, hey, did you have anything to drink tonight? And here's the context. It's Friday night. It's probably like 10 p.m., right? Or 11 p.m. It's payday weekend. And it might just be a coincidence that, or I'm just there at the gate and I'm screening drivers coming in, and I'll just ask, hey, have you had anything to drink? Now, out of 10 people, if they were already doing something, if they already had something to a beverage, a liquor to drink, that's their first thought. But if you look at how I worded my question, have you had anything to drink? Not once did I mention any sign of alcohol in there. And every now and then I'll get a smart aleck going, yeah, I drank 2 glasses of water. I'm like, okay, you're not drunk. Keep going. Right? But anyone that pauses or just says, oh, just a drink or 2. Well, guess what I'm gonna do? Automatically, sir, ma'am, my name's blah 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 from base blah 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 blah. I'm gonna need for you to turn off your engine and start to step out. You have been randomly selected for no, not randomly, but you've been selected for a sobriety test. So that's what a loaded question is. And again, on the loaded questions is it's something just feels like, huh, right? So whenever you get that feeling like, huh, just watch where the frame of the conversation is and what the specific words was, because it might just be coincidence, or it might just be someone's manipulating us, right? So, Ralph, I thought this was about ChatGPT. Why are you focusing on the human so much? Well, again, for us to interact effectively with anything physical, external to us, we need to know our own internal patterns. And the reason for that is I've actually had to change my presentation up a couple of times just this past few months, because a lot of the stuff that I had just made it obsolete, especially this past few weeks. There's just so many AI tools now. But I do, again, and the path that I took this presentation now is I just want to stress that ChatGPT and all these generative AI tools, it's just a tool. It's powerful, but just like any other tool, it's the human behind it that makes the ultimate difference. And if you've watched Top Gun, the new Top Gun, I just watched it last week. There's a speech there that I love where he goes, "Hey, it's a pilot, not the plane, right? It's the person in the cockpit, not the plane." And just this past week, the more I think about it, I'm like, man, I really wanted to show you guys how to make ChatGPT hallucinate, and also bored hallucinate. But really, at the core of it, it's all about problem formulation, right? And who, what, where, when, why, how. They teach us that in elementary, but I still see a lot of people miss who, what, where, when, why whenever we're talking about something. So again, to utilize the LLMs properly, it's up to the human to be able to figure out that there's a problem in the first place, right? And diagnose what and gather the data that's relevant to the problem, and break it down to the core things in order to be able to ask ChatGPT and form a solution. So, and the thing, yeah, I'm gonna skip. How much time we got? Oh yeah, I'm gonna skip all the OSINT stuff. And I just want to show you guys there's so many tools. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of tools being released now for generative AI. And where the trend is going, I know prompt engineering was a big thing a couple months ago, but there's already preformed templates for how to use ChatGPT. And the way that they're updating the LLMs, and me and Jim was having a conversation. I was just laughing at this because now I even, like, instead of using templates, I'll actually just ask ChatGPT, going, "Hey, ChatGPT, how do I use you? What's the best prompts for this specific problem?" And then ChatGPT just tells me. So the prompt engineering fad that I think is going on, it's gonna phase out, because at the end of the day, it's about the human. So we got to take care of ourselves, take care of each other, and people first always. And that is my presentation.
All right. Yeah, definitely lots of human and interesting items. The Q&A chat is open. So if you have questions, please type them. Please type them in there. There is one question in the Q&A chat from Emily. It was from a little bit ago. But on, like when you're showing the MFA, just what are some of the features about MFA tool that would make it better than other ones? Like, is there a class of MFAs that you've seen that are just easy to compromise, and then others that have extra features that are harder to compromise?
Yes, there's a couple of the features I like the most, because right now what's easily being compromised are the push notifications, where it's saying that, hey, just push this to accept. Or there's another one which is SMS, the codes, and there's other attacks for that as well, where I can SIM swap and get the person's a phone number. But the best one that I think right now is the authenticators that have the digits that keeps changing, and also one that provides context, meaning like, hey, someone's logging in from Russia, right? So that one's a good one, and just combine that with geofencing, meaning like, hey, I'm only gonna accept, like, I live in Austin, so anything outside Texas, it's probably not me, and you just automatically deny, right? So that one's a good one. The one I like the most is, and this one's on Windows, where you have it's MFA, but it's already assigned to a physical device that's in your possession also. So there's multiple types. Unfortunately, I don't think we talk enough about it, and because the simple ones are easily getting compromised now. So thanks for the question.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for that. Yeah. There's some. if any more questions, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll have some questions as well. Yeah, one of the things I kind of really liked is the combination of not just the pure technology, but yeah, really focusing on the kind of the human side, and you can see the different aspects of things that you had to use these things in the past, or be concerned about them, whether it was in nursing or law enforcement, or now kind of interested in the cyber side. Maybe there's not stories that you could go into, but are there any stories that you have that that relate to the social engineering that that you think align with manipulating the large language models in order to give it back the answer that you want? Or maybe I didn't formulate that question very well, but maybe you get the idea.
That's actually part of the stuff that I removed from my slides, because both Google and Microsoft or OpenAI is doing a really good job at patching, where we can't make them hallucinate anymore. But still, the thing that I want to say is even if you patch something, there's still it just added a layer of complexity to it. So within time, and if the hackers start using automation to just do the prompting at scale, I mean, it's just a cat and mouse game at that point. As far, but the key thing that I really wanted to bring up is when humans are talking to each other, there's a frame, and now in tech, we have data frames, and how computers to talk to each other, and how humans talk to computers. There's also a conversational frame, and most of the time we're not aware of it, but yes, it's just one of those. If someone's manipulating you, it just tugs at you. It just doesn't feel right. And with ChatGPT, he doesn't have a heart, but if you just keep chugging at it, they actually break, and it's funny how they hallucinate.
You did show some of the catalogs of prompt templates, and then some different AI tools.
Yes.
Are there any AI tools in those catalogs that you've tried and really, really like?
Oh my gosh. There's so many different ways that you can combine them. Like Midjourney for art. Again, the possibilities is just it's endless. Just depending on how creative the person is. So yeah, sorry, I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know. I wish I attended the generative AI from yesterday. Was there anything that popped out that spoke out from the conference yesterday?
It's just definitely Google positioning their tooling. A lot of the generative AI tools, they're trying to gear things towards enterprise getting comfortable using them. So I don't have to send my private data out to somebody out on the internet and then have them bring the model back, where they're now they're going to use my data and my questions to the prompt, my prompt questions, and add it into their model, where where Google will have the base model inside of your own VPC, inside of your own private cloud environment. You can add more training material, but then that material never goes back to Google. And then the answers that you get and the prompts that you give, they don't, they stay local. They never get sent
Inside.
back to Google. So they're trying to make it easier to well, not easier, make it palatable for enterprises to try and use these things. So all those things we have to send data off somewhere else. Legal teams and privacy teams, they don't like that type of thing. So that's the kind of the big takeaways. And then the other one is just, there's just so many opportunities to try and use it to improve things like knowledge management. Like everybody has like a zillion documents, but if you're a brand new guy at a company, how do you find anything? Especially now with everybody working remote, like there's nobody to just turn around and talk to. Could I just enter into a chat bot that knows everything about my work and it can just tell me, it's read all the documents that are there, all the emails or whatever, and it can just tell me what's there.
And it's saying too, because now I know it's up for future release where you can upload a PDF document and it reads it, and you can ask the LLMs exactly what's inside the document. It's the same thing for videos and same thing for audio. I don't have to watch a whole hour of this video. I can just have ChatGPT shift through that, and then I'll just ask, hey, what's the top 5 things that takeaways from this video, right? Because again, 20% or the Pareto's principle. Like I don't exactly need to know 100% of the details. Just give me the top 80%, and it's going to be the most impactful thing for me anyway. So it's just if y'all haven't used LLMs yet, Bard or ChatGPT, start using them because it's here to stay.
All right, 2 questions, and then we'll close out the session, and we'll move on to networking after that. One is from Anita. Have you thought through, like when you're looking at AI tools, is there anything that you think about the security of those tools before trying to use them? Or is there anything in the back of your mind, or are you just mostly right now just using them for fun and exploring and haven't had a chance to think through the security side?
So the common advice there is, if it looks fishy, don't download it, right? But there's an assumption there that the person already knows what looks fishy to begin with, and that's where that advice fails. but for sure, like my advice would be stick to what's generally well known, and then if you're willing to try out, and most of them are cloud-based now anyway, so just be careful with your credentials. And if you do download something, I always highly recommend to do it in a sandbox or a VM. That way, if something goes bad, you just trash it.
Nice. All right, and the final question, this is one that I ask all our presenters. It's a career advice question. If you could go back to early career Ralph, maybe 20-year-old Ralph, knowing what you know now, any career advice that you'd give your younger self?
So the younger me used to love PC games. That's how I got into hacking, and I went into finance. I was a stockbroker, and I went to I helped out a lot of small businesses, and through that connections in my community and family friends, I just helped people with setting up their network and computers and stuff like that. So that was about 20 years ago. And since then, I became a cop, I became a nurse, became a stockbroker. I became so many things, and not until 2 years ago where it really clicked in my mind, where when I met Jim, and he's teaching cloud. Jim was actually my cloud instructor, and the first course to that was Server Plus. And I was watching the instructor teach about, hey, I get paid to set up computers. I get paid to install Windows. I'm like, wait, what? This whole time, like, I didn't know that was a career. Like, and it just blew my mind. And so that my thing for those starting out is don't be afraid to in the beginning to check what's next door, because yeah, I love computers, and it feels like I just went a whole circle back to that. So again, if time allows for it and you got the resources, don't be afraid to experiment and to check what's next door. So
nice. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Ralph. I mean, you can obviously have seen the comments as I've been scrolling by. Definitely appreciative of your time putting this together.